thanks so much for joining us here, the first of 4 incredible races. Gridlife Touring Cup, our wheel-to-wheel single-class sprint racing series on the biggest stage in grassroots racing, the 10th annual Gridlife Midwest Festival. Sold-out crowd and a sold-out field, 50-plus cars.
I started GLTC 2 years ago. This is my 3rd season. It's awesome. I love it. I used to do time attack prior to that, and I don't need to go that fast, I realize, and I'm just as happy going slower around a bunch of people. Still a power junkie. I still love horsepower, but I don't miss it like I thought I might. But the draw to me is the competition, the friendships, the camaraderie, and then just the love of racing.
With Jeremy is really tough. He doesn't give you an inch, just like I wouldn't give him an inch. So we've been buddies for years, teammates, and we ran time attack together as a team. We were successful in that. We don't like to lose, and that's not what you come here for. You don't come here to lose, but you also come to have fun and race clean, and we do that. But we also don't let each other win. There's none of that.
Sometimes 130 miles an hour, which is still fast for a lot of people. It's plenty intense what we're doing, and we're fighting for tenths of a second, so it's still all hands on deck, complete concentration all the time.
For the Midwest Festival, and for 5 of those 10 years, Gridlife Touring Cup has put on some of the best grassroots racing on display for people trackside and around the world. These drivers are not professionals. They race for the love of the sport, and Paul Curley continues to have the fastest lap of the race, but Swenson just did a personal best. He's half a second back here.
People looking at this, assessing their situation. Where's their window of opportunity?
Mistakes, big enough mistakes, and I'm trying not to make any myself. It's so hard to pass when the cars are really, really close. You know, you can set up for it, meaning like in the corner entry, make him go defensive, which is going to hurt his exit, and I'll be set up perfectly to get back to gas earlier and try to beat him off the corner. But Curly's found a way to make his car accelerate just a little bit better than mine, and it's so hard to pass someone when they can just out-accelerate you.
Paul Curley out front has just been undeniable so far. But Swenson's not out of the mix just yet. 3 car lengths back here, and for 3rd even closer. It's Rosenberg now feeling the pressure from Luke McGrew in the number 7.
So like literally somebody has to make a mistake. Like they have to make an actual driving error, which is slide the car too much, dropping a tire, you know, overputting the brake zone, something like that has to happen. And you have to be there to count. If you're not there, it doesn't work.
These two, though, they have so much respect for each other. Baton 19 or will be 19 years old. Luke could be his dad.
I'm definitely still learning how to set my car up and kind of finishing the last little bits. Like I just recently put aero on it. So I'm definitely pretty fresh compared to a lot of the other competitors. They have more experience on track, more racecraft. So definitely a steep learning curve, but I think we're doing all right with it for what we're working with.
Look at this run up out of turn number 6. Here comes Luke to driver's left. On the outside, this is a hard line to hold on to. Luke's gonna throttle up side by side for the podium spot here in race 1. Now into 10, who's later on the brakes? Rosenberg does not have the binders like Luke does, really deep into the corner. He slips across the nose, Luke tucks underneath him, tries to get back, they touch, and side by side leaving 10B up the back straightaway here. For 3rd place, McGrew and Rosenberg, but now the 44 just throttles up, he's gone.
somehow I got to the start and got ahead of them just enough to keep them behind me. Luckily, I made no mistakes that race, but Jeremy was there the whole time. If I would have made one mistake, it would have been on.
Race number 1 at Gridlife Midwest Festival in the 10th year is going to go to Paul Curley, his second win on the season. The 45 wins at Gingerman Raceway. Across the line is Jeremy Swenson in second place, Matan Rosenberg in third, then it's Luke McGrew.
I was going over because he fucked me over. And then look, I fucked up a little bit coming out of 6. And I got up beside him. We went through 7 together, went through the S's together, went into 10 together, and we broke about the same time, but when he just couldn't get turned, came over. That was a great race. Good job, dude. You're getting loose. You're getting loose.
I took the pressure out of it.
I just want to see if you beat me or not, you dirty dog.
Most of us run AIM data boxes, so you can really get technical and see actual graphs of every part of the track, and you can compare it with your friends.
You're the fastest through there. I'm 1,000th slower.
Look at who's that?
That's Matan, cheating Matan.
Who's that?
If this is on camera, we got Matan, cheating Matan, legal.
Captain mile per hour.
We was out there hitting the gas pedal?
Yeah. You push your gas pedal all the way?
No.
I don't.
That's a problem.
That's why.
Look how close to me and Jeremy are.
You need to get some heavier shoes.
I think it's unique to our series in many ways. When you're fighting as hard as you can to win a race against your closest friends, ideally you'd have a few secrets for yourself, which I think there's a few of them out there. They're not necessarily top secret or anything, but there's not much between us that we all know each other's setups and what each other's strengths are.
Hey, can you do super slow-mo with that?
Yeah.
Once again, we are looking for Club TR. We are 10 minutes away from Club TR. 10 minutes, Club TR. 10 minutes, Club TR.
Us top 4 Corvettes are our fastest lap from that race, which is what grids us for the next race, are all within 1/10 of 1 second. So yeah, that's how close it is right now. It's tempting to go get on the dyno and try and turn it up a little bit, but I don't think we'll take our chances on that.
All our cars are the same car, but they're all built differently. Their own little touches, and to be that close in one race is crazy. I've raced with Luke for years in time attack also. Matan had a Miata before, built a Corvette. We're all close competitors and friends.
Curly, Paul Curly, we just call him Curly. He's been racing since he was a kid. He grew up go-kart racing with his dad, and now he's racing big, slow Corvettes with his dad, which is awesome. We've been friends since far before GLTC, and I kept pushing him to say, hey, let's do this. And so he built the car, and he agrees this is way more fun than what we used to do.
Here we go, 49 cars deep behind the Dodge Monaco pace car. Paul Curley and Jeremy Swenson, first and second yesterday, will start race 2, first and second. Matan Rosenberg and Luke LaRue, they will start where they finished yesterday.
That starts the ticket. If you don't get that jump, you're probably not going to pass them back. You're watching that green flag. The second it's thrown, you're gone. And if you can get out front, we're so close that I don't know if we can pass each other unless somebody does slip up.
Stacked up, the Corvette Quartet leads the way here. A bunch of G-Speed powered cars. Here we go. Side by side, Curley takes the top spot. Bit of a lockup there in the back. front too, though, establishing that lead that they've had all weekend long. Currently leads
It's
Swenson.
just them out there.
It's just them.
It's just them out there. They are always competing against their competition, but really in their heads, it's them against them. It's them against the best lap that they've ever done, or the last race, whatever have you.
We call that racing the racetrack in a lot of ways, right? There's competitors on track with you, but often, especially when you get single filed out like this, the other competitors around you don't really matter if you're not extracting the most out of yourself.
The difference between a good driver and a great driver is maximizing what the car can do. You have to brake as late as possible. You have to turn as hard as possible. You have to be the gas as early as possible. And it's usually, for most of us, you have to work up to it. Even if you've been here 100 times, it's like, how far can I push it?
You have to lie to yourself a lot and tell yourself, to keep reminding yourself that you can go faster through that corner. It's all about commitment. If you're not committed to a corner, you'll go off or you'll go slow. There's two options, really.
In many cases, it's a reliability thing too. You're pushing them as hard as you can.
Pro teams, they pull their cars apart every race. I mean, their hours are 5 hours of driving or 3 hours on this part, where we're going more than that on them because of budget mostly and time at home and that kind of thing. So.
For one of the Corvettes. Which car is this? Is this our leader? Is it Paul Curley, the leader? It is. Smoking out of the tailpipe.
There's so many different variables. Okay, all right, well, he is off track, but look at that. Just take note of all the oil on track.
And if we get a yellow, this race might end under yellow flag conditions. Might not draw a full course because it's offline. So here we go. So Swenson leads the way. It's about 15 car lengths over Luke McGrew, who has a couple of wins this season. Swenson has 5 to his name, and that gap is probably pretty safe for now.
That I could conserve, so I backed off and I was running the 2.5 or 2 seconds slower lap times, trying not to abuse the tires, just save it.
Swenson leads, but that gap has come way down to 1.6 seconds now. Jeremy Swenson hasn't won a race since race 2 at Carolina Motorsports Park. It's not much of a drought, but when he hasn't won in an event and a half, this is somewhat notable here.
Try to get their mirrors, try to get their head a little bit. It's kind of out of the corner of your eye type thing too. It's not like I'm looking at him. If you don't want to do it, if he does it wrong, you'll do it. So I'm just like, it's a peripheral thing. You're trying to look through his car on exit, the rabbit in front of you.
Oh, look at Luke McGrew. He's closed in on Swenson now. He's closing in. Could we have a battle back to the checkers here? It's 5 car lengths. Jeremy Swenson out of turn number 11, checkered flag waving, 6th win in 13 starts for Jeremy Swenson across the stripe. He wins race 2 at Gingerman Raceway. Luke McGrew, 2nd place. He was tracking him down there at the end.
Count that as a
30,
3302.
33.5 there.
thinking the 8 ball before it's done. Still, it's a win.
It's a win.
It's points.
It's a win.
The start of the race was awesome. It worked out just like I thought it would or should. This might happen again, and then it didn't. We were going to have a good race. It was going to be fun. The whole weekend was going to be fun, but it's part of it. People are like, "Aren't you mad?" I'm like, you know, stuff happens. It's a mechanical tool. Like, it will break, it will wear out. And with Jeremy behind me, you don't give it up. There's no just cruising around. It's 110% every time.
There's not really any celebrating at the end of it. Your buddy just had a problem. It was his race. This has happened several times already this year. It was his race to win. He had a problem, but that's part of racing, and that's, you know, I pride myself on this car getting to the finish line, and it's been one of the most reliable cars in the paddock. Rewards weight sounds different than it is. You think it's a good thing, it's not ideal. 3% for first, 2% for second, 1% for third, extra rewards weight. You'll put that in the car, and that slows it down just a little bit. Yeah, you don't get money, you get extra weight. And that sticks with you for the next race, and then the next race, and then the next race.
Jeremy Swenson, now it was a bit of a somber win last time, but I don't think that that's phasing him this time around. I think that he's coming into each corner with pure intention.
Consistency is the key. You said it earlier, Cerise. We're talking about not only in power level, we're talking about the season throughout. Jeremy Swenson looks down the line in terms of how you win a championship. You don't need to win every race. Finishing third in every single race of the season, you can win a championship like
Absolutely.
that. If he could just cling on to this and finish this race out, it'd be a second one off the weekend.
When you nail a corner perfectly, that's what you're looking for every turn. And as a racing car driver, is to nail a turn every time. And you know, there's no such thing as a perfect lap. So trying to eke towards that is what's fun and it's challenging. It's just the reward here. It's tough to eke everything out.
And I mean, this is the perfect example of, like, this is when the stakes get higher. And when people are out here and they're really fighting for it, this is, when you have to be careful what mistakes can happen. And
well, and exactly. We've had 2 really clean races so far.
We've gotten very lucky.
We try not to get complacent as a driver in situations like this. And the incident rate of GLTC is very, very low, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to have an accident. Trouble, car off at turn 10B, and that is the 871 of Arimas
That
Corroses.
door is open.
We continue racing, at least for now, up the back straightaway towards turn 3. Swenson leads. There's the full course yellow now. Double yellow flags waving from the stations, and this is going to slow down the race. That was a big off for both of them there.
Yep, they're feeling it right now.
So this is going to arrest this race for now, and what this means now, Cerise, is that safety car is going to come back out on the racetrack.
It's a really tricky situation. In this circumstance, the cars were stuck in the sand trap in turn 10. And they were pretty deep. There were a couple of cars stuck there. And practically you can't keep the drivers going around the track under yellow lap after lap after lap because the event schedule is very, very full. We try to finish under green. Sometimes it's just not possible.
And there's the checkered flag now, so this race will end under caution, unfortunately, for GLTC race number 3, which will give the win to Jeremy Swenson.
It's another thing, like, it doesn't feel great. I mean, that one stinks because there's more cars wrecked. That always stinks, no matter what. No one's ever happy, I don't think, in this paddock when they see cars wadded up or, in the wall or whatever.
break it down apart for us.
We've been doing pretty well this weekend. We continue to add rewards weight. Now we're at 8% rewards weight, which is the maximum amount. So it's definitely a bit slower. It's not an issue for handling. It's just an acceleration thing, pretty much.
You ready to scrap from 7 and 8?
What now?
You ready to scrap from 7 and 8?
It's going to be great. I'm just going to follow you, because if I finish behind you, I'll win.
If you finish in front of me, you'll win too.
I'd say I'm happy with my results so far. Kept the car pretty clean, and we've made all the races so far. So really just hoping to keep it clean, keep it consistent. If I can get a spot on the start, maybe, but it's going to be really tough. You know, Houghton and Matt Waldbaum, they're going to put up, and Eric, they're all going to, you know, really good drivers, and it's not like they make mistakes often.
The invert this time is 8, which means the top 8 will swap positions. So first we'll go to 8th, 8th will go to 1st, 2nd will go to 7th, 7th will go to 2nd, and so on. The idea is we'll all be bunched very close together and having to make passes.
Race 4, I mentioned earlier, has an invert. That invert was 8. So Jeremy Swenson that won race 3 under yellow, he will start in row number 4.
All we really need to do is just finish this race with any amount of respectability, and we should win the weekend. But it's still racing, and anything can happen.
Different amount of energy out here. People are really going to get hairy. They're going to get on people's bumpers.
And look at Swenson lingering
he's coming
there.
in. He wants it.
What it would mean for Swenson to win another weekend. He's almost clinched it, but he has to finish out this race in a good spot. Can't make any mistakes.
If it's clean and people I trust, I want to race them hard because it's fun. But if it's people you've never raced with or infrequently race with, you don't know exactly what they'll do. In some cases, like brake zones even, I haven't been around a lot of these guys yet, so a lot of them brake earlier, and if you're a foot or two from them, you can't brake at your brake zone because it might not be the same as theirs.
Race 4 is, Jeremy, I'm talking about you.
Yeah, I figured, but I wasn't going to just stand out there.
Jeremy never finishes particularly well in race 4.
Son of a bitch.
Because you don't take chances. He doesn't put his car in a place that it doesn't belong because he knows that to win the weekend, you can't destroy your car in race 4.
All these friends I raced in Time Attack with, and then they all started running GLTC. It's like, I'm gonna go race with my friends. And hanging out with them all weekend is a blast. And then racing with them. We put our helmets on and it's like, you're almost not friends, but you are. You respect each other, but you still wanna beat it. And that's what it's about to me.
Going door to door with a competitor, if you're trying to have a race, it takes a mutual respect to leave racing room for that other driver. Maybe at first glance or at first thought that would be unusual. I'm going to steal a quote from a close friend of mine who also races GLTC, which is, the worst thing that happens when you leave racing room is that you get to have a great race. And so I think that's where the respect comes in, where we want people to be able to go door to door. We don't want people to block off or to turn down on people and cause accidents or crashes, because these drivers are buying the opportunity to race, not just to win an event.
Funny. I would say all of us have different personalities, and we all make jokes with each other. I mean, we talk all the time. I talk to Luke a couple hours on the phone a week, depending on how busy I am, and if I'm working on the car, sometimes it'll be multiple times a day.
So I think it's partly fun and partly just, you know, I think everybody's trying to help everybody out at the end of the day, which is crazy when we're competing, but again, it'd be different if we were winning like, you know, a couple $1,000s, and we're just shoveling money into this.
I think that makes it the whole package. The fun outside of racing, the jokes, the weekend that we love and that we want to keep coming back to, and that, you know, we're all addicted to in this series.
Weekend points, 67 combined. Mr. number 82, Eric Catil. Great job, bud. Hey, you guys remember when that car was upside down like a day ago? Oh, and Catil edged out Matan by 1 point, I heard. That's ridiculous. Mr. Luke McGrew, number 7, with 72 points. Flip-flops. And with 87 points, number 3, Jeremy Swenson for the win this weekend. Solid drive. Your GLTC podium for the weekend. Every time you come to the racetrack, you're like, oh, I love all these people. It's the best. So thank you for being people that are really easy to love. And I hope you have the best weekend. So talk to you guys soon.
I'm actually going to aim at your lens.
No, don't. Okay.
All right.
Just going to hit it with that.
So ready?
Oh, yeah.
To Adam and Ashley.
Oh. Hey, Adam and Ashley.
When the sun goes down tonight, we will stop racing and we will adorn the festival site. You can see at bottom, there's where the festival will be at the outside of turn number 2, all jamming to the sounds of some of the great EDM artists around the country.